In this video, I show you how I build a new interior door for my office from scratch. With that said, there's really a couple reasons I wanted to take on this project. The first is that the door itself, or the doorway itself, is really small. Smaller, in fact, than a regular standard sized door. And so in order to have a door to fill that space, I either need to make one or I need a special order one, which would be expensive. The second reason why I wanted to take on this project is that I really love trying new things out, and I really love to experiment on small things first before I graduate onto bigger things. And there are a couple of other places in my house where I want to build some more complicated custom doors, so a small door like this is great practice. So let's talk about my plan. First of all, most doors consist really of three basic parts: the rails, the stiles, and the panels. And they can be put in different variations, different sizes, different shapes. The old door that I put in my office has some glass panels as well. But the door that I'm going to build for the closet is actually going to be very simple. I'll have 2 panels, 3 rails, and 2 stiles. And that brings me to the first major challenge of building a door, and that is getting your lumber flat and straight. Now, I recently posted a video where I show a trick that I use to get my lumber flat and straight for big projects like this, and so check that out here. For this video, though, it's enough for me to say that I use a jointer and then a thickness planer to get the boards flat and straight and then to the right thickness that I want. Now, one thing that you may also notice if you look closely is that I actually have laminated 2 boards together. And the reason for that is that most doors, interior doors, are 1 3/8 inches thick, which I don't have lumber that thick. The lumber that I use is what they call 4/4 or 1 inch thick lumber. And so I need to actually laminate 2 pieces together in order to get some boards that are of the right thickness. So I did all that first before I started planing them down to their exact thickness. I also needed to glue some boards together for the bottom rail. And that is because most doors have a very thick bottom rail. Mine is 9 inches, and I used a biscuit joiner and glue to glue the boards together. With all my pieces prepped, we're now ready to talk about the second major challenge: how you put the door together. It isn't enough to just glue the pieces together, as a constant action of pulling the door open and closed will eventually break those joints, and so you need something more to give it some strength. Most solid wood doors are built with strong mortise and tenon joints or loose tenon joints. I don't have the patience or equipment for that, and so I created a doweling jig to help me drill 3/4 inch dowels. And you can check out the video for that here. Next, I will cut a groove on the inside portion of each rail and stile with a 1/2 inch router bit. The purpose for this is to give a place for my panels to sit securely inside the door. Now, I was talking to my dad about my plans for how I was going to make this door and the type of joinery I was going to use. And I mentioned to him I was going to have these 3/4 inch dowels. I was going to drill holes and have the dowels sit into those holes to provide strength for the door as it's open. And what he warned me against is that sometimes those types of joints can crack because the dowel itself builds up a lot of pressure in the hole as it's compressed in together. And sometimes that pressure can cause those joints to break. And so one of the suggestions that he made to me was that when I make these dowels, I actually cut some holes in them, enough for air to pass through or for glue to pass through, and that relieves the pressure so it's not like a piston kind of pushing in, and that'll help keep the joint from cracking. I also need to sand each dowel a bit because they were just slightly too tight to fit comfortably in the hole. Before I glue everything together, I dry fit it to make sure that I don't need to make any adjustments. If you want to know more about the plan for my door, including measurements and other things that I learned that are a little too much for this video, be sure to check out my website, DIYwithdave.com, where I post all of that information, including some extras that could be really helpful if you're planning on building a door for yourself. All right, my door is finished. It is painted, it's ready to go. The only thing I need to do now is to drill the hole for the doorknob and then mortise in the hinges on the side. This part always makes me nervous in a project when you've kind of built the thing and it's the way you want it and everything's great, and then you got to start drilling holes into it. And if you screw up, you know, you could fix it probably, but sometimes those fixes are hard and they take time. So, you know what they say, measure twice, cut once. So here we go. So that's it. I really enjoyed this project. Again, I love making things that are practical. I love making things for my home, and I love practicing on small projects before I take on much bigger projects. And so this was really great practice for me to learn how to build a door in a space that's small, somewhere where I can really kind of make some mistakes, and that's okay, so that when I go and make something much bigger, I don't make those same mistakes and it goes much more smoothly and much more quickly. Again, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you like it. I hope that you subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you share it with your friends.